So, good evening guys, and welcome to another Sunday night instalment of P-Zero. It is round 4, and tonight the guys head to IMOLA. Of course, our conventional setup, the last one of the week, short qualifying in 50% race. And of course, OTL tomorrow falls back into our first sprint format of the next 4 races. In the championship, now it's a little bit tricky because I need to scroll backwards and forwards, so I'm just going to go through the running order of the championship thus far. We've got Matoman in P1, Rob Wills in 2, Mika Lando 3, Mick in 4, Mate 5th, Shiv P6, Skarma 7, Bilton Matt 8, Leon Evans in 9, Pedro in P10, Laverick 11, Rodders 12, Nyeri P13, Dixie 14, Arwen Evans P15, Keith 16, Speechy 17, Metcalf P18, Brown Dog P19, Jock in 20, and Dales Hunter in 21. Of course, we've seen Chris White take that maiden victory last week in the championship, take another swing in drivers' favours. Matt, of course, or Chubby Slug he is now known as, leading the way up top, but, oh, let me turn that down, he is being closed down by drivers behind. So, going into Imola, I still think we're going to see the Rob Wills, the Mick, the Bilton Matt battle up front. I think there was some other drivers involved in that as well. I think Laverick showed glimmers of good pace. He struggled a little bit last week. Who else do we have on the grid that I think could be right up there? I think there's more to see from Pedro. I think Pedro could definitely mix for the top 5 if he can just keep himself in check. And of course, Skarma's always going to be there or thereabouts in that front pace battle. I think he just doubts himself a little bit too much. And then, of course, drivers that we've probably not seen enough of. We've seen Rodders have that great result, and then maybe struggled for a couple of races, so I'd like to see Rodders come back and have a good result. I'm going to see Brown Dog and Dales Hunter up there as well. Leon, Evans and Arwen. Leon's always there or thereabouts. Some instance later on in races may be costing him, so he'll be looking to finish strong. And then our man Dixie, he's been a bit of a hit or miss this season, so he is definitely going to be looking to get some better positions in the championship. Excuse the blue screen for a little second. Good evening, Rob and Skarma. I hope you are well. So I have an assumption to why drivers don't get into your lobbies before a race. Would you like to hear what I think it is? I don't think, well, it is the game, but I think I know what they need to do to stop this happening. Because if they're on the game pre-race, before that invite, or when they get that invite, they should probably do a game reload and then they would get in first time. Why the game needs this, I don't know. And I hope to God that next game is better. But it might just be... It's a rule I'm toying with my HOR guys as well. I'm just going to say, like, pre-lobby every day, please do a game reload to try and maximise the lobby strength potential. It must be a latency thing. The longer in your game, the lower your latency becomes, and that's why you then start to struggle to get into lobbies. That's what I would assume. I am by no means knowledgeable on that kind of tech or that kind of stuff, so do not quote me on that because I am not sure. Hopefully our old stream will pick up and we'll see some familiar faces in. Up to 107 subscribers on Oma Racing now. That's down to guys like P-Zero joining us. And they've been really good as well. P-Zero, I must say kudos to all the guys involved. They are very generous in how they try and expose our channel. Of course, they are part of the family now, and yeah, they've been really good in the terms of pushing and trying to help us. And I think that's what leagues should be about. Leagues help each other out rather than try to beat each other. Better together. So I'm hoping. Oh, 3 struggling to get in. So I would suggest they need to do a game reset and then an internet connection test on their PlayStation. And then once they do the internet connection test, reload the game and try and join in. That should get them in. That's what I would suggest, Rob. I'm not saying it's their internet, but just doing a full reset of the internet on the PlayStation might help rectify any issues in the game. Bear with me 1 second, chat, please. So hopefully we will get some guys in any moment. And then we'll get to some racing ahead. Let me see if the guys have put any juicy facts for me on the Facebook that we can have a little run through. Because Shiv is the man when it comes to some funky stats. Yes, we do. Stats following the provisional results of the Australian Grand Prix. So, Chris White got his third career victory, equaling David Jarvis, Juan Carlo Fisichella, and Mike Hawthorne. Gerhard Berger also won for the third time in his career at Australian Grand Prix in 1987. Chris joined Sebastian Vettel in 2017 and 2018, Jenson Button in 2009 and 2010. The man Mick Schumacher in 01, 02, 01, the Naughties 01 and 02, and a win in back-to-back races at the Albert Park circuits. Rob Wilson got his 10th pole position, the most in the league, and the same career total as Johan Rindt. Matthew Mansell got his 14th first front row strut, one less than Jarno Trulli. Matthew Walker, aka Chubby Slug, got the 12th fastest lap, equaling the career total of Alberto Ascari and Jack Brabham. Martin's map was 2/10 slower than the league lap record set by Rob Wilson last season. Pedro's best position when driving in the league of 5th. Very, very good job there for Pedro. Alpha Tauri's most recent Grand Prix victory, of course, was Pierre Gasly in the 2020 Italian Grand Prix, being closely chased down, of course, by Carlos Sainz that day. And a Honda engine car has never won at Albert Park, although Gerhard Berger won the Australian Grand Prix at Adelaide in 1982 in a McLaren Honda. But of course, not a Honda engine. So what's getting said on the stream? So yeah, I will just pass on my information to Shiv. If this just talking in the chat, guys, I just relayed some info on to Shiv. Oh, don't Adam, don't start. So I would say part of league owning is brutality. There's got to be some brutal calls. You can't restart a lobby 100 times for everybody to get in. So I would go in and hope that the guys can get connected once the lobby has launched. If not, you could run quali, let the grid be set, do a lobby restart and give them one more opportunity at the end of the qualifying. But the only thing I would say then is, of course, you're giving everybody that benefit of a fresh tyre. So it's in the hands of the owners. If they want to give the guys one last opportunity to get in at the end of qualifying, they could reset the lobby, arrange the grid in the qualifying format, and then just put the guys at the back. But of course, that would mean that your top 10 get the fresh tyre run, so it's entirely up to the guys that run the show. So on to the session we go. Oh my god. It is absolutely lashing with rain. Oh, rain for qualifying. So we'll get some data on the track. Full wet conditions. So I think we're going to see some guys get some fuel in the car and just go out and do some laps. So I think we're going to see some action. We'll probably see guys go out for about 6 minutes, 3 runs, 3 laps back to back, find their way and try and get their best lap last, come in, refuel, fresh tyre and go again. That's how I would run my wet qualifying, always, as you're never going to get your best run in the first lap. It's about finding your feet. So we will see exactly how the guys choose. Of those running no touch control, they're in for a world of pain. But if you can get the car hooked up, then you maybe be able to put yourself in that top spot. So of course, the thing with the wet is to reel in the aggression. Aggressive driving is just not quick in the wet. Gentle steering inputs, gentle braking inputs, gentle throttle inputs, and just find where the grip is. If you go slower but get grip, you will go quicker. I know that sounds very counterintuitive, but trust me when I say that. A slower lap in the wet, a tidy, casual looking lap is usually a very good one. Mr. Evans is going to be our first man to open us up. IMOLA needs to be careful, I'm not picking up an invalidation. He's very close to the white line in that before the last corner that will take this and next lap. So Alwyn will open his lap up and we will see just how he goes about a hot lap at IMOLA in the rain. Braking around 100 metres. It's probably a little bit late, maybe 10 metres earlier. I think about 110 is going to do you good, but 30 metres earlier than the dry. But he keeps it nice and tidy, then into 3 and 4. And up to the hairpin in turn 5. Probably one of the biggest overtaking opportunities on the track, bar into turn 1 here, is if you can get the run through that second chicane, you can really make a move in somebody. Up into the hairpin, then up through 5 and the kink of 6. How much speed can you carry in the wet? Let the car drive wide, use the outside of the track, and then a very delicate entry as you crest down the hill, hit the compression zone. The car will always try and pull you off the track. Gets the power on nice and delicately, and it's looking a nice and steady lap here from Alwyn. Nothing, he's not pushing too hard, he's not trying anything aggressive. I think one of our drivers have managed to get into the lobby. So Alwyn will come down to the last couple of corners. And where exactly can he put that Alfa Romeo on his first run? We'll probably see drivers filter through. As I say, they will go for more than one run, because you're never going to use all the energy, so you can't afford 2 or 3 hot laps. So Alwyn will set the pace. It's going to be a 27.5. But we have a Mercedes coming to the line. I'm not sure who it is. I think it might be Skarma in a 28. How is Chubby Slug getting on? He's invalidated. Built on Matt coming through the last couple of corners. I think we get Dixie coming to the line as well. And that was Rob Wills opening his lap. We've got Dixie actually behind Bilton Matt. So Bilton to the line he goes. It's going to be a 28.1. He goes into P3. Let's see how Dixie's getting on. He's coming towards the line. It's a 28.2 for Dixie. Now who do we have? Let's filter back down. We'll get on board with Yeri. He's coming through the last couple of corners, so we'll just stay with him. I think we have an Alpine ahead. That's somebody just going in an out lap, so we will not see a time here. It's a 28.4 for Yeri. We're seeing that starting to compress now. Pedro comes through turn 1 and 2. He must have invalidated his first run. It was Mika Lando getting on through the last corner now. Leon Evans sets the pace now in a 27.559. takes pole by 2/1000ths of a second. It's a 28 flat for 29 flat for Michelangelo. He will slot into P8 at the moment. Matty got a little bit of traffic behind, and Dales Hunter, is Dales Hunter going to get out of the way? I think he might be on a lap as well, so the two Williams drivers not doing each other's much favours here, or are they trying to work the two? We've got Laverick coming down the hill. I think we've got Rob Wills actually. Let's see how Rob Wills gets on. And Mick has been disqualified from the session for being parked in a dangerous location. Not sure what's happening there, so Rob is going to go 28.6, he goes into P8 at the moment. And who do we have there? Was that Laverick that improved? It was. He got a 28.2. Where is Pedro coming? Last couple of corners. Chubby Slug, in fact, it's a 27.1 now for Dixie. He finds the time, but a 25.7 for Mato, man. That is some crazy advantage in the pace. Pedro invalidated this and next lap. I'm going to stay on board there, driver. I need to get some painkillers, guys. I've got a very sore head. So I'm back. Chat. So what have we got going on? Roddles to the line, 31-2 for Roddles. How's Pedro getting on? He's on that invalidated lap, of course. So Dixie in that P2 slot, turning up for the books. Was that him just going over the line? I think it might have been Rob Wells actually, improved to 27.7. So, let's go further down the grid. Has Pedro decided to go for another run? He is coming through 1 and 2. So we'll stay with the Aston Martin man. Oh, excuse me there, chat. So what is Pedro? 28.3 sector 1. I think that's in the ballpark of the low 28s at the moment. So Pedro through the last couple of corners, as we listened in there on him exploring the limits here at Imola. Where is he going to be? I think it's going to be that 28 mark, low 20, or went to, oh, a 30? What was I watching there? Oh no, it's a 28.8, what the hell? Don't know what the game's been doing there, so let's filter through. Shiv, how is he getting on? Coming through the last couple of corners, oh, he misses the apex by just a little bit there, but he gets a good apex in the last corner and a nice smooth exit. Am I not seeing something? No, it was a 33.9, I think Shiv is going in his lap now. Let me adjust my phones when I'm at front of their chat. My chat was not going up. Good evening, Mr. Rage. Are you still in the chat? Sorry, my phone had biffed out a bit there, that's what I was just trying to fix. It wasn't working very well at all. How are you, Rage? Our double Monaco winner. I hope you are well. In fact, Rage, if... Oh. So, Rage, are you in the chat? Yes, we are all good. Rage, you know what I was actually going to say? We were actually talking about you in my family home today. Because my missus is trying to diet, and I said to her, what about trying fasting? And I was obviously explaining that, of course, you partake in the fasting for Ramadan, I'm sure. And how it's quite grueling on the body, actually. Big respect to people that can put their body through it. I know it's a tough old thing. Am I right there, Rage, in saying it's Ramadan? You fast for Ramadan, is that right? Did you get some shoes and thought of Rage? What? Oh. Now, Adam. As we see Brown Dog go round there. I think I was on him a little bit long there. Apologies, chat. So, Rob Wills and all of that. I was too busy trying to rectify my chat. And now Shiv goes into P2 and a 26.4, so the time's starting to fall. Rob Wills goes into P3, 26.6, 26.4 for Shiv. Yeah, so I was talking to her, Rage, and if that was a way of, if she would be, like, if she thought about trying that. I don't think it's for her. She knows how hard it is. So Dixie went to the intermediate compound tyre. Are we seeing a risk here? As Yeri goes to P5, 27.5. Where else do we have? Who's this coming through the last corner? Is this Rob Wills on another lap? He's on an invalidated lap. Shiv is not on a lap. Who's this do we have further down here? Is it Dale's Hunter? It's Matty, in fact. Matty coming down to the last couple of corners. He's not set a lap time as yet. To the line, Matty goes, and he goes to P3 at 26.4 and pretty much identical lap time to Shiv. My god, is the grid compressed. And I just understand why Adam has messaged me, maybe. Just flick between wet and until see the delta. If the delta's not there, it's not worth it. But if the delta's coming in, it may be there for you, and built on that was 1.1 seconds up. He goes to P6, improvement. Mika Lando now out of nowhere as well, showing some pace, 26.4, and look at the guys in P2, P3, P4. I mean, just appreciate how close it is, even in the wet. Chubby Slug, quite a bit ahead, 8/10 gap in pole position. I think he's going to be a hard man to catch. So Dixie trying it. And he's maybe flung it out there. If it is going to work, it's maybe just a little bit early. He wants to get that so that guys don't see the speed. And he gets it on the last run. Chubby Slug back out on the wet, so he looks committed to being on the wet compound tyre. We've got Pedro on an outlap. How's Laverick getting on? Oh, Laverick is out of fuel, the poor lad. Built on Matt, where is he at? He's on an invalidated run. Mikel Lando's gone into the pits, so these guys will be scarpering in. And I think we will see an influx of driver leave the pits any minute now for these last runs in qualifying. We got up to 17 drivers. Skarma to the line. He doesn't improve, but he has the energy back on and looking to push on now. It's going to have a little bit of traffic ahead, and we'll stay with the Mercedes man at the moment. Into turn 1 he goes. All over the curb, uses a lot of the curb at 2. Then the kink of 3. Oh, the car trying to drift wide. He just had to get out of the throttle a little bit and let the car settle again. Into 4 and 5. Nice and steady there, then gets a nice exit. Then up to turn 6, the airpin, as I said, probably the next biggest overtaking opportunity of the race, then into turn 1. And we have an influx of drivers now onto that intermediate compound tyre. So has Dixie caused a bit of a star, or is the weather just coming to the drivers? That is something that we're going to have to pay attention to. So Dale's Hunter going to get out the way here, I think, of Skarma. Maybe not. Dale, I think, on a lap also, so Skarma need to be careful here as he is 9/10 of a second up. So Skarma looking to get himself close to that top 6, but he's got some traffic. Is Dale's Hunter going to stay on my way? Because this could be the making or losing of Skarma getting anywhere close to that top 6. He's going to have to be cautious in the break down into the second to last corner. He still gets a reasonable exit. Now he just needs to get out of the last corner and pin it. Forget about the guy in front. He needs to get himself to the line. How high can Skarma get? As it could be the last run with the traffic ahead. He goes to P8, and I think he was looking good for P6 there. But of course, Dale's Hunter on a lap as well in front. He doesn't need to get out it. He's well entitled to be on the line. And Pedro's invalidated his last run. We see Dale's Hunter go all over the curbs at 1 and 2. How is Chubby Slug gone? He's up even more, but he's got Pedro ahead. A little bit of a tow he'll get down this mini back straight, if you want to call it that, down into the second to last corner. Chubby Slug, of course, will get another run, but Pedro is going to want to go again. Oh, he nearly picks up an invalidation there. Can Matoman improve any? He does not. He pretty much matches his first lap time, and he's just going to get out it. I think Matt is pretty confident, although look at this. The intermediate compounds, where are they at? Has Adam been way down? Or is the tyre about to come to them now? We will get an idea, and he's 6/10 down. I just don't think it's in the car. Rob Wells, let's see how he's getting on an intermediate compound. Has it been the right call for the guys, or is it just too wet? The checker flag falls in our qualifying session. Now we've got an Alpha Tauri. It's built on Matt. This will be his starting position at best. To the line he goes. He stays in P6 after gaining 3/10 of a second. Adam is way down. Where is Matty Shiv out the last corner? He is on a lap, but he's going into the pits. Chubby Slug will not be on one. Michelando, he doesn't. He goes to a 26.4. That was showing a way up. So is the inter tyre working? I don't think it is. I don't think the inter tyre is getting anything out of it. Let's go to see Arvin Evans. Can he improve? He does. He dislodges Dixie from P7. Dixie now down to P8. Of course, he was in P2 at the start of this. He's going to go to the line, but I don't think the tyre has it. Oh, he does find time. He gains... Wait, is that right? 1.6 seconds. And Pedro now on the west. Now dislodges Dixie. He goes to P8. And what an ending to the session. But Chubby Slug, that first lap in the session, a 25.7. It was never to be beaten. He laid down the marker early. Shiv tried his best, as did Mika, but just couldn't get it. And I think the inter tyre was coming in there. It just never came in quite enough for the guys coming to the end of the session. Mika Lando taken up from his win last week, P3. That's a very strong effort. But of course, that midfield is very, very competitive. So the curtain falls in round 4 at IMOLA for P0. Another pole on the notch for Chubby Slug. Not to Matoman it. Of course, a driver we didn't get to see very well is Mick. Where would Mick have been after getting disqualified early in the session? Who knows? Took a chance. I think the inter tyre was coming at him, it just never came quick enough. I think it was a calculated risk. Oh no, the inter tyres was the best running. So for some reason my timing screen was showing people improved on the inters. I don't understand. I don't get it. So Jock gets interested into qualifying. I don't know if that will put him onto the back of the grid. It may or may not. Oh, excuse the hiccup. So, the dry weather dawns on what will be, I think, it's like 34 laps here. 36 maybe. I hope every day is well. Guys, while we're having a little break in the session, please, if you haven't already, drop a thumbs up on the video. It's always a good help for the channel. And now we will get set on our formation lap. So on row 1 we will have Chubby Slug and Shiv. Row 2 will be Mika and Matty. Row 3 will be Rob Wills and Bilton Matt. Row 4 will be Alwyn and Pedro. Row 5 will be Dixie and Skalma. Row 6 Yeri and Leon. Row 7 Laverick and Brown Dog. Row 8, Dales Hunter and Rodders, and on his lonesome in row 9 at the back there, Mick of course getting disqualified early from that session. He will be on the charge. How far can he get through? That is the question we will need to answer. I will grab one last restroom chat and then we'll get set for round 4 at IMOLA. So now I'm back, I will have a look quickly. We'll get some telemetry up. Let's see the tyres of choice. So Chubby Slug starts on the mediums. We have Shiv, Mika and Matty all on the softs. Rob Wills on the mediums, Bilter, Matt on the softs. Arvin, Pedro, Dixie mediums, Skarma softs. Yeri, Leon mediums, Laverick softs, Brown Dog mediums, Dales, Rodders and Mick all on the soft compound tyres. So, quite a plethora of difference. Is Mick in the session? That is the question. So Mick will come into the back of the grid. I'm hoping that he can get back in his car. And he will take the slot in P-Zero's round 4 IMOLA GP. We'll get ready to get underway as we watch from the back of the grid. We have 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And as said, round 4 at IMOLA is away. Let's go to the front. Chubby Slug seems to get the better initial launch. We'll watch from behind is Mika Lando, and now look at that, we see all the cars trying to find some space side by side. I think we've got Shiv and Mika going side by side. Mika has to yield at the moment, he falls back. Bilter, Matt managed to get a couple of positions off the start. We've got Skarma managed to find 3, Laverick up a couple as well, but Matoman manages to use his medium tyre smart and get a bit of a jump off the start, but the soft compound tyre will start to come in. So the question is now, how much pace does Matt have? Can he get away? Or is the soft compound tyre going to keep these guys in the fight. What happened to Pedro? He's down 4 positions. He seemed to struggle. We'll go to further back in the grid as we see Pedro hunting the back of Yeri, maybe just struggling a little bit, of course, on that medium compound tyre as we filter back through the grid now. Dixie on the back of Skarma. Skarma's going to go a bit wide. Dixie will have to react to that and get out it a little bit. As we see now, our front 3 really starting to stretch their legs a bit. Michelando pushing on. Matoman looking very comfortable, he's nearly got that out to a second, and the guys behind having to use a bit more energy to keep with Matoman's pace at the moment. So this is when we'll really start to see it open up, I think. Let's look further back as Shiv there is struggling on energy deployment, but is Chris White going to try and put him under pressure? Shiv will defend it, they're trying to close that gap up to Matt. We'll look further back, we've got Dixie 2 tenths behind Skarma. Can he get close enough? He is not going to this lap around, of course, on that medium compound tyre. He just needs to do his thing, because if the medium strat is to be the one, he is net P3, so he does not need to get too greedy. Just run his race at the moment. Can he maybe make a move up into turn 6 down the inside? I don't think he'll be that close enough yet. Let's go to this Mate and Michelando battle just a little further up. Is there anything going to materialise from this one? I don't think so. So we'll go back to the Dixie and Skarma battle, because there is only 2 tenths between the drivers. Dixie looking very settled on that medium compound tyre, and I think he's maybe going to be looking to clear there as he goes much deeper on the brakes, and Skarma, he looks much more comfortable at the moment. Skarma, I think he'll settle down. He will come into his own as the race unfolds. He's maybe just trying to find his feet at the moment. As you see Leon Evans getting through there, and Yeri further back on the grid. Pedro, has he got any damage on his car? I don't think he does. So DRS will be enabled next lap, of course, or this lap, sorry, as Shiv sets the fastest lap. And let's go to this battle in front. We'll see Shiv, he will pull to the racing line. Matoman will defend on the inside, he will try and keep his car tight. There'll be a bit of contact on the rear, but Shiv will go through, and now we'll go back. Can Michelando now get the run of Matoman? I think he's pushing on. Matoman will defend the inside line, just move his car over a little bit and say, look, if you're going to try and come in to 3, I will make my car as wide as possible. Nothing will materialise now up into 6, and I think Matoman has maybe made a smart play there. He needs now, he can preserve the energy. He will be in the DRS pocket. So he is working to his strategy favours at the moment. Things can obviously change very quickly at IMOLA. Incidents do happen, and Dixie now has got through in Skarma at some point. We missed that. And can he close that 3-second gap up to Rob Wills' teammate and start closing in on the pace? Mati now onto the back of Michelando. Michelando hunting Chubby Slug, but Mika down to 8% energy on lap 3. But he can go on a bit of a recovery now. But Mataman, if he breaks that DRS from Mika, Mika could be in a bit of bother as Shiv sets another fastest lap of the race. Mataman, he's happy. I think he's not looking to push too hard. Let's look further back. Skarma and Laverick. Laverick will go through. Dixie falling back a little bit from Rob still, so he just needs to settle into his pace. He's got some good energy on tap. And this battle at the front is now 4 cars strong. So we will stay on board with Mika. Will any of them be able to make a move? I don't think Mika's going to be able to recover the energy to really push at Matoman. So he's in a bit of a recovery phase. He goes very, very deep there into turn 10 and picks up a time penalty for merit at the same time. I don't know if that was 3 warnings in one there. It's a shame we don't get to see them. And Shiv looking very controlled since he got out in front. He's putting the gap between him and Matt that he has to. If Matt really wanted to take back front of the race, he could. But Shiv is getting it at a point where it's just a bit more tricky. Like if Mataman wants to get through, it's going to cost a bit of energy. We'll see no closing here, but look at this. Mika trying to push on Mataman. Mati right there as well. Nothing going to come of it. And Pedro now catching up with Skarma. He's within 8 tenths of a second. So Pedro got himself back in a DRS window in that P10 position. Of course, P5 last week, so he'll be hoping for a good result. I think the battle up ahead is the main one. As we watch, we see the cars there all in a train. As one guy waits and our two Haas boys are round simultaneously. Both of them had a bit of a moment. The Haas guys both struggling at IMOLA today. And of course, safety car changes everything. And Mika, has he had a connection issue? Mika has a connection issue. I may be able to get you an invite, Chris. If you are watching, bear with me, chat. I just want to try and get one of these drivers back into the lobby. I don't want them to miss out on any. HJKLM. Oh, I can't because it says you've already joined, Chris. Ah! So what happened out front? Of course, Mika fell away. But Matty, in somewhere of all of that, is dropped 1.9 behind. Chubby Slug has retook the lead of the race. And now Mika falls back behind Bilton Matt. Pedro picks up his first time penalty of the race for multiple warnings. But he has got through on Skarma. So Pedro up to P9. Catching up with his teammate. Mika now just hemorrhaging places here. I feel for him a little bit. It kind of sucks. Adam kind of stuck in a bit of no man's land at the moment in that P7 spot. He's 5 seconds off the pack ahead, or any drivers ahead, and Laverick's really not closing him down as Mataman sets the fastest lap of the race. But Shiv is going to come for a move round the outside. Is he going to send on Matt Mataman with brilliant car placement, good defence? He has a bit of an oversteer moment though on the exit of 2. So Shiv could be pushing Matt into mistakes here, and as long as you keep applying the pressure, that's maybe all you can do at some points when there's a tyre deficit, is just keep lumping the pressure on the driver in front. You may be able to push them into a mistake, or better still push them into a penalty. No, and I by no means they'll push a driver off track, but if you place your car in a way that you're coming for the overtake, it might compromise their line. They might make a mistake, thus getting them pushed wide. And we see Brown Dog round. Is that a retired car? It's not. He's got away with that one there. In fact, somehow he didn't even pick up any damage. What? Oh no, I think he has. And kudos to Brown Dog there. Not having a race of thing mate, but he's still respectful enough to just get out the way of the guys coming through. So Brown Dog, if you watch this back or you are watching, big respect. I've got time for any driver that sees what's happening. Oh sorry, I'll jump in on this. Is Mataman and Shiv going at it once more. Shiv in the outside line down into 3 and 4. Mataman leaving the spaces, materialising into quite a battle here between the Alfa Romeo and McLaren, man. And this, have we seen a duel in Italia? Is this what this is to be dubbed? Shiv having a little glance. It's not going to come this time around. He chooses just to wait. And we've got a yellow flag, sector 1. I think that's Brown Dog had enough for the day. He's going to retire in the pits. Shiv hit the grass a little bit there. So Mataman able to push on a bit, and for some reason when somebody retires, just takes all my splits away. But Shiv is still within the DRS of Mataman and looking very comfortable. But my kudos to Matty today. we've seen a side of Matty. I've watched for 4 races and I've never really seen this side of him. He's been consistent, he was strong in qualifying. I've seen a complete Matty, and this is what I like about following the guys that maybe you're not used to seeing or watching the fast, because it's usually the faster guys that you see a lot on streams, right? But I love to see the lower down guys develop. So where is the action? Let's go back to our lead battle. Well, we see Shiv come for another move. The Matoman up the main straight. It's a big old powerful DRS on, so we may see something come. Shiv gets on the energy, DRS will pop open. Matoman chooses not to defend too much, but I think it's not going to get close enough. Shiv, Matoman of course can use a burst of energy coming near the end of the straight just to blank that off. Let's go to the Mika and Pedro fight. Mika back in, his DRS open and through on Pedro. He will go quite an easy pass. Pedro will tuck back in to that toe. And Dixie about to get enthralled in a 3-car battle. Let's go to the Laverick Leon, a 10th between these guys as well. Could we see Laverick making a tenth of a move up into turn 6, but he's going to go a little wide at the hairpin, so we'll go back to the Michelando, Dixie, Elite and Pedro fight at the moment. I will pay close attention to the gap between P1 and P2, of course Chubby Slug and Shiv, but Shiv, just as I say it, picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. A third of the way into the race, first time penalty. Maybe that will settle things down a bit at the front. Is Shiv just going to not want to pick up any more penalties, or is it going to be a case of he's got one now? I am just going to go hell for leather and try and get this. The gap is down to 0.3 of a second. As we go on board with Shiv, he'll go to the racing line once more, and he's going to be much more ahead into one. Matoman will accept it and he'll slip in behind. But look at Matoman, he's going to have the better exit here on 3. Now up to the run to turn 3. Shiv will defend the inside line. Matoman will look to put the car on the outside as we watch from the top airbox in Shiv's car, but nothing will come in. Matoman and Shiv need to be aware, because Matty is down to 1.4 seconds. Do not count Matty out of this race. So Mika got through and Dixie, we missed that as that battle unfolded at the front. Well, we see Dixie though, he's got a big energy advantage to Mika and about 40% gain, so as long as he can stay in that DRS window, he will have a move. As we see Chubby Slug here all over the back, I think he's that close that it will be quite a simple move here. Probably doesn't even need to use any energy. DRS will pop open and we'll see the overspeed go. Matthew squeezing Shiv right over, and he'll fall back to the racing line. Shiv will tuck back into the top, and a nice easy overtake there for Matthew on the DRS. Now we're going to see Dixie push. Is he going to put Mika under any pressure? He has of course that energy advantage. He doesn't want to lose the DRS. That is the most critical thing. He's up there in P6, so he has all to gain and nothing to lose, dropping out the DRS. So I would spend a bit of energy to keep myself in that window. His race of course comes alive in the next few laps as these soft guys pit away, so getting any bit of extra pace now is huge. And Shiv now outside that 1 second window. Is he going to manage to creep back inside that down the hill? Mataman going to choose not to push too much, so I think he will just give Shiv that opportunity this lap. But I think this could be it now for Mataman. Soft tyre, of course, starting to go away. So this is why you're seeing it's not so much Mataman starting to stretch his legs. I think it's just the tyre difference, and even that lap, Shiv fell out that DRS window. So Shiv tried to put a fight in there, and we see how much time it was actually costing Shiv and Mataman, because Mati was down to 1.4 seconds as Mika boxes from P5. Mati was down to 1.4 seconds, but that gap has went back out now. The guys are kind of running in clean air. Let's look further back. Who have we not been on board with? Let's give some Dale and the Williams. We've not been with Dale for a bit, so we'll sit with them. Had a tricky start to the race. Of course, the medium tyre is a good race tyre though, so starting the race, ending the race on it's not a bad idea. It's just a very good tyre to start the race on also. It's a 50-50 choice. That there's not much difference in strategy here at all. So, yeah. Matty now into the pits from that P3 slot, so it'll be interesting to see where Matty comes out. I think he will split the Mercedes and Aston Martin. Pedro may, Laverick may just sneak through. Oh, he is actually going to sneak through quite convincingly. So through Laverick goes. Good to eat. Oh, SPW, I respect it. It's nice that you've came in to even give us a mention and say you're going to watch back. That you're a good man. I'm even going to show you some love there. There's a big fat heart emoji there just for you, Mr. SPW. Hope you're having a good time. If you're out from some beverages, knowing you're probably just down the beach with the boys. But either way, I hope it's a fun evening for you, sir. So Matty now behind Laverick, absolutely on him off the pitch there, and Laverick not going to put up much of a fight, and you see the traction difference on that fresh compounded tyre, and fair play to Laverick, not fighting too hard. Now Shiv pits from that lead battle. So now Matt's race is on. Mataman's race essentially starts now. I know he was in a battle with Shiv, but for his strategy to work, this is his critical laps. How consistent can he be while Shiv will be quicker, to maintain as high a gap as possible, to put pressure on when he gets out on that soft compound tyre. Matty, however, gets within Shiv's DRS window with a cheeky undercut opportunity, so if Matty can keep himself in the window, he could be right in this podium fight. Rage, are you still on stream? Are you? I want to know if you're here. Who do you think's been driving the best so far, Rage? Who do you think looks the most consistent? I think Mataman's been very good. I think his pace in qualifying showed that. But this man here, I would like to say he's a bit of a standout, but P5, P6, I can't expect him to be up there. But Matty for me is probably the standout guy. He's never really had a strong finish, as we see here. Guys getting into the pits and then guys all over each other. It's Matty now who's going to try and push to make a move on Shiv. Both of these guys absolutely spent on the energy. So it's a kind of a stalemate as they come up to turn 1. Nothing will materialise that time round. Pedro though, closing in on Dixie, gap down to 1.8. Let's go to Skarma now and Laverick. Skarma on the hard compound tyre, we see him making a move. Managed to catch Skarma making moves. Can he even get Dale's Hunter on the next time round? Dale, of course, on that very old soft compound tyre, so you'll see even on the hards, he's got a big advantage. He will push now, Skarma. He's not going to get close enough this time around. Oh, and they get very close, and they get close again, a small bit of contact. Dale's Hunter goes a bit wide, he ends up in the gravel, and he will now be compromised as Laverick will sweep round outside. There's a bit of contact, Dale's Hunter nearly ends up in the wall. Laverick gets a big lump oversteer. Yeah, that's it, it's the gap. So we'll actually look at that, Rage. I'm intrigued by that, because that's what I thought about myself. Let's look at the leader gap. So at the moment, 28 seconds to Shiv. Skarma is a big moment. So, the gap is big. Matoman has made huge gains on the overrun here. Let's go on board with a leader for a little bit. A little look at the penalties there as well. Or no, let's go to the Mate Pedro fight as he looks to the inside. Pedro leaves the space respectfully. Oh, it's Mate then hits the rear of Pedro. You need to be careful he doesn't pick up any damage. Pedro will defend. He is a defender, he's a fighter. And he knows if he can keep one of these lead strategies behind him, more pressure on them and an easier return job for Pedro once he gets onto that soft compound tyre nearer the end of the race. I think these guys will be looking to pit in a lap or so as Pedro has a big oversteer moment, and good reactions there from Mate. He manages to not go into the back of him there, and now we have Shiv all over the back of Dixie. So I think Shiv's just going to wait. He'll go for the DRS. It gives him probably more time. He would gain more time because Dixie would probably just come back through. So out of the last corner we'll see Shiv make a move in Dixie, and I think we'll see Mate make a move in Pedro. As we see Dixie go to the inside, Shiv will go through, and here goes Mate also on Pedro. Through these guys go, of course they're on that lead strategy, so Dixie and Pedro are racing each other. So can they use these guys now to find a bit of pace in their race? This is ideal scenario. One of the faster guys get through, or one of the guys on the newer tyre, and then you just use a bit of your energy you've got left in the tank, because you're going to pit shortly anyway. Stay with the DRS, even for just a lap, to find yourself a couple of tenths of a second. We've got some comment in the chat. Go on Mick and Paul. Mick is not in the race, unfortunately. SPW. As we see built on Matt and Pedro here. Oh, Pedro's had a moment. No. So Matty will be eyeing up Dixie next in the DRS zone. I think these medium guys will be coming to pit any time. Next lap or two. Is Dixie not going to put up much of a fight? He knows these guys have got DRS. There's not really much fighting he can do. But he will tuck back into that DRS and the toe and see if he can hold on to the back of some of these guys who are so aggressive on the curbs. That is my nice soft suspension setup. They're doing wonders for Adam. If any other driver done that in the stiffer setup, they would have a bit of a moment. Dixie nice and aggressive into 4 and 5. Laverick now on Skarma, and I go to broadcast view and we get that. That was a terrible game as Skarma tucks back in beside. Thought he was maybe even going to look for one down the inside into that last corner there, but not this time. Dixie falls back out the DRS zone. So now we are going to see the medium guys come in for that pit stop anytime soon. Rob Wills is going to get a batch of DRS from a back marker for nice measure. Now I think the gap to the leader still 26-2. Rage, if you're in there, I think this is solidifying Mataman being very, very strong today. think the pit stop here's 23 seconds, right? 23, I think. So Shiv has got to find some time. Of course, he has that penalty as well, and Matoman's going to be in the soft compound tyre. I think Matoman's chilling, man. We'll get there now, a look at the tyres. Some guys choosing the hard compound, that's an interesting one. So let's go further down. Skarma and Laverick, they seem to be having a bit of a battle. Laverick looked a bit glitchy there, maybe he's just went through it. Now Arwen out onto the soft, so we'll start to see just how quick that soft compound tyre is. Mataman's went on. He will box this lap, he will come in this lap. 10 laps, probably what you want to be doing on the soft. If the medium's below 65%, I'd probably just go another couple. If you can get it to 23. I think because of just being a little bit down and some guys still settling, I think they use pit assist here, Rage, so they can get away with one, especially at IMOLA, because it is a very hard one. Matty picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. Built on Matt now on Dixie, down the inside, a bit of squeeze. Oh, and there's been no space left in the inside there. And Dixie goes round. Oh. Has Dixie recovered any? Yes, he has. He won't go to the soft compounds, but let's go to Mataman. He is into the pits. Is Rob going to react? Will he come in again as Pedro picks up another time penalty for multiple warnings? And Rob Wills is in, so now this is where it's critical. We'll stay on board with Shiv, or stay with Shiv, but I think Mataman is going to be out well in front. Oh, maybe not here. I was very wrong. So it's a slightly longer pit stop than I thought. It's maybe about 25 here, Rage. 25, 26, it must be. But Mataman, of course, out in that fresh soft compound tyre. He just needs to creep up the back to Shiv. He's got a 60% energy advantage, so he needs to not push anything too crazy. Just crawl up to the back, get the DRS, and through he'll go. He'll also take the fastest lap, so it's looking like the clean sweep ahead for Matthew. Yeah, it's a very long one, Rage. I never thought any tracks were like close to the 25-second mark for pits. I thought they were all 21, 10 or 20 to 23. Look at this, Mataman looking already. He's putting Shiv under big pressure. Alvin Evans hit the fastest lap in a 17.7, but Mataman is about to be cleared to drive off into the distance. DRS will pop open, and through he will go on Shiv. Pedro into the pits himself, so is Dixie going to get the jump on Pedro? Has he managed to get in and get the overcut? If he can get back in front of Pedro, I think that's some saved damage. The game is so broken, Jock, it's a joke, mate, honestly. I don't understand it. It's... Oh, and Mataman picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. Now that could be massive in the end of the race. Of course, he's got that big advantage in the tyre, so it may not be much an issue. I feel for you, Jock, there, man. You do everything that you can, you know, and There's still nothing you can do, and look at this, Dixie now all over the back of Pedro. The battle commences between the two. As Chubby Slug now sets the fastest lap and gets that gap to almost 2.5 seconds, and he will just drive off now. I think Mataman, he will not look back. That's it, Rage Rob is the kind of man I'm interested by. Can he get up to built on Matt? And then maybe get into that podium? Let's actually have a little look at the penalties. I think they're all at 3 seconds. Yeah, they are. But Rob has none, of course. So, can Rob steal the win, Rage? Can he get up there to steal that win, I wonder? He'd need to show some very strong pace on the soft compound tyre. We know Rob is quick. Gap down to 1.9. And look at Pedro on the back of Yeri. He'll go through, and Dixie a little bit behind. Can Dixie close up enough on Yeri? I don't think he'll get to him this time. But yeah, he's going to push to get through. Look at Dixie, he'll come to the inside line for up into 3. He'll get on the energy. Oh, and Yeri, oh, he just turns in as normal there. He's going to go wide, but Dixie will push to the outside line and send it right round the outside. Yeah, he'll leave space this time. I think he's maybe tried to leave space, maybe just a hard compound tyre, not playing ball. Adam will get the squeeze on, but he can just break that bit later on, that soft compound tyre. Now Rob is through. Built on Matt had to pit. Built on Matt pit, that's interesting. So 9.9 seconds the gap. I think he may get down to the penalty range for Mate. Can he get close enough to get Shiv as well? It's a big ask. We will watch the gap. So we have Leon Evans out on the back of Built on Matt, but of course Built on Matt out in that soft compound tyre, so he will scamper away. Let's look at our biggest gainers and losers of the race. Leon Evans and Lavrix both gained 5. Pedro and Dixie down just one position each. Alwyn Evans has been our biggest loser at the moment. Dale Hunter, Rodders, and Mick, of course, he's not been in the race. But it's been pretty much status quo for wherever they started in qualifying. Six laps to go. Rob's got the gap down to 8.8, so he is gaining, but Mate is into the DRS range of Shiv. Can Mate scrape the P2? And Mate looking very comfortable at the moment on this medium run. I want to go back to this fight. Is he going to get close enough? He goes for a big lunge round the outside into Tom Winders, Matty, but it's not going to come this time around. Mikael Lando picks up another time penalty for multiple warnings. And 5 laps to go. This battle for P2 has came alive. So Shiv looking good in this first sector, but Mate just seems to have something in the last sector that allows him to creep up. Oh, but he's going to fall a little bit outside the DRS range there. Shiv's trying to push on. Can he squeeze that car back inside the window? It's very, very close, but I don't think it's close enough there, so Shiv will survive for another lap at the moment as we see Dixie now on the back of Laverick. We will go to this fight as Dixie will get DRS and be able to push up. Pedro also gaining on Leon Evans on his soft compound tyre, so Pedro looking to recover P7. Is Dixie going to go for the move early? He has a big glance there, he's not going to come this time, but he will, I think, just stay behind and come for the move into DRS. Laverick has a bit of a moment. He parks the car in the middle of the road. Of course he's entitled to do so. Makes Dixie pick a side, but Dixie will go through, of course, on that fresher compound tyre. But we'll go back to the Mate and Shiv battle. Shiv's good out that second to last that last chicane of the lap there, but she's just given him that bit of advantage. But this time Mate will get the DRS. So how close can he get to Shiv? He's got a slightly better exit out of the last corner, so DRS will open. Can he close the gap? I don't think he's going to be close enough. I think you need round about 6/10 of a second to really make the move stick. He'll get within 4/10, but it's not going to come, and he picks up another time penalty. Oh no, Messina, I think that's it for Mate. I think he got a little bit annoyed with himself there, and of course now that puts him under big pressure from Rob Wills, because Rob Wills is inside the penalty window. Rob Wills has got himself back into the podium positions. The question is, can he get within a second of Mate with 3 laps to go? Gap is 5.8. Pedro now and Leon Evans, here he comes for P7. He'll go to the inside line on the soft compound tyre. Nice easy move on DRS, leaves the space there, and then closes Leon out on the exit of the corner. Nicely done. Of course Pedro's 6 second and time penalties himself, so he will lose that position again unless Leon has a bit of a moment. So Mate trying to push. He may get close here, and Mate will go to the racing line. They will go side by side, but he hits the grass on the entrance to one. Shiv's just gone, oh, there's a bit of contact. Will that be any damage for Shiv? He'll go back through, but the contact was pretty hard. I think that's just a sorry there from Shiv, a little apologetic wave. No harm done there between any of the two of them. Mate just went a little bit deep on it, or a little bit on the grass on the entrance to one, which forced him wide and compromised his exit into. I don't think Shiv realised, but he gives the solitary apologetic weave. And what's happening further back? Let's go to Skarma and Yeri. We get on board just as they come to the DRS, so we'll get this overtake done as well. So Skarma, Yeri placing his car far to the left of the track. Skarma will go to the racing line, and then they will jink him down the inside. Bit of contact there. He will try and roll up the inside line, but it's not going to come that time around. And I think Skarma was just a little bit unsure of exactly where Yeri was going to put the car, but he'll look to the inside into 3. Oh, and they get very close there. He can't make the big move on the inside line into turn 6. It's a big send on the brakes. He looks for it there, and there's contact with Skarma. Gets the opposite lock on, keeps the car in control, and further up we've missed it, but Mate has eventually got through on Shiv, and now that puts Shiv under pressure. Rob can see the gap. He needs 9/10 of a second, but he has a bit of a moment. That's going to cost him tenths. Rob needs 1.1 with 2 laps to go to recover a P2 in the race. And it would be P5 to P2. I think it'd be a very good day in the office for Rob if he can get it. It's down to 3.8. Matamano in the last sector for the penultimate time. He's been absolutely faultless today. But that one penalty he picked up, he's never looked in doubt. Shiv put up that good battle early doors, but Mataman will come on to his last lap of the race. The Skarma picks up another time penalty for multiple warnings. Shiv back in that window of Matty. Rob Wills down to 3.4 seconds. Could this be the lap for Rob? He has only one chance left to get within that window. Of course, Matty having 6 seconds in penalties. So Matty is a guarantee. But the gap's going out. Of course, Shiv getting DRS from Matty, which could be his saving grace. The gap 3.8. Rob needs to use the tyre to try and make the gains. There's nothing happen really anywhere else on track, so it's all down to Rob. Can he salvage P2 in the closing lap? The gap is 3.4 seconds. He needs 4 tenths. 3.3, he's almost there. Oh, it's went back out. It is so close at the moment. It's down to 3.2. Shiv has a bit of a moment there. Will that allow Rob to gain any more? It's 3. Oh, it's going to be very close. 3.1 now. Rob is gaining and gaining dramatically. Can he find any time in the last sector? If he's got any warnings left, he needs to use them, and it's 2.9. Mataman takes the checkered flag. It's a faultless victory for Matt, but Matty will come round. He will take P2, but it's 3 points. Oh, it's so close. 2.9 seconds. Can Rob find the time? It's 2.7. I think he's going to get it. He gets within the window. Shiv will get Mataman, but Rob will leapfrog them both by 2.5 tenths of a second. He gets that P2. It's P3 for Shiv. Matty falls to P4. Mika Lando and Bilton Matt having a bit of a tussle here, coming through the last couple of corners. Mika going defensive. Bilton Matt will try and get the run at the last corner, but Mika will get on the energy. He will bring on P5. Will it change at the line? A good day for Alpha Tauri. It is P6 for Bilton Matt. Pedro will recover and bring home a P7. Because I think Leon will get P7 in the end because he has no penalties. I think Pedro went up to 6. So Leon gets P7, Pedro P8, Dixie will come home for P9. Laverick will be P10, Dales Hunter is confirmed in P14, Rodders 15. Mick in 16, Laverick will come home in P10. Then it'll be 11 for Gary. Will Skarma get him on penalties? He does not. It is P12 for Skarma and P13 for Arwen. And that was a good little race there for P0. I did enjoy that one. Who do I need to get in? Leon gets driver of the day from the game. Very thoroughly deserved. But it's a close toss-up between two drivers for my driver of the day. Between Rob and Matt. Matt to men. And Matty. If Matty didn't get the penalties, I think he would have got it for me. You didn't enjoy it. No, I don't think you... At least you can be humorous over it, Chuck. So I will get Chubby, Slug, Shiv and Rob in for a chitty chat after the race. Mataman, of course, having that very dominant qualifying. Where is Shiv? I don't think I have Shiv actually. And I must remember it's OTL Chubby Slug now and not is it offline? What's happening? There's Rob. Oh, there's Chubby Slug. One of these guys I think can add Shiv for me. So there is the race director. Chubby Slug takes the win. Rob Wills 2, Shiv 3, Matty 4, Mika 5, Bilton 6, Leon 7, Pedro P8, Dixie P9, and Lav rounding out the top 10. Oh, good song. Good evening. Oh, what's going on? That's crazy. Who is this?
It's Rob. My voice never comes through on chat, so I was just checking to see what it sounds like.
Oh, I see. Is it working?
Yeah, it's working now.
Alright, that's good, before we start. So, we wait. Can one of yous add, please, Shiv, if you do not mind? I don't have them.
I don't know how to add people. Oh, there.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you very much, Rob. So we will just start with you, Matt. We'll go first to third since Shiv is to join us, although he's very quick getting in. A very, very strong P1 for you, Matthew, in qualifying. A nice chunky, I think the gap was 7.5, 8 tenths of a second in qualifying. Is that right?
Like that, yeah.
So you did say earlier to me, and when we were talking, that you were hoping for a bit of rain. That came. You showed why you wanted it with that big gap in qualifying. Start of the race, Shiv did put up a hell of a fight, but once the pit stops came, you had the damage done, I think, and then to get out on that second stint, right on the back of Shiv, with the tyre advantage and of course the energy being topped up while you're in the pit stop. It was just a case of keeping your nose clean and driving to the line. Then utterly faultless display. You were very, very good today, very consistent. How do you feel?
Feel good. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't expect it.
Sometimes the ones you don't expect are the ones you drive the best.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself during the race, something's got to go wrong here. I'm doing too good. Something.
I know. I think you got to like lap 20 without penalty, which I was very impressed by.
Yeah, I literally just. I think it's that fast left-hander in sector 2. I just literally just gone the other side of that white line and it got it. I was like, well, okay, I'm already here, so I'm not too phased about it being 3 seconds unless something went wrong. But yeah, I felt good. The car felt the car was on rails, to put it bluntly. The car looked very, very stable. So yeah, I'm really happy with the result I've got. Shiv put up a hell of a fight in the first, didn't I?
It was a cracking battle between the two of you. There was some very good action.
Yeah. I was trying to break the DRS early on, but obviously with them being on the soft tyre, I'm doing that in the first stint. So I thought, okay, wait it out and just see how it plays out.
Yeah, and of course, once you come out behind on the softs, I think that's probably when you know, like, right, I just need to drive the car the way I've been driving, and the win should come relatively simply, which it did in the end.
It did, yeah. So I'm quite happy with the result.
It's a very good job. An extension in the lead of your championship, of course, so that's all you can do. You just need to keep notching them off.
Yes, consistency.
That's it. I never thought we'd see the day. But good job, Matt. Very well done.
Cheers, pal.
Rob, our P2 man. And you made it a very exciting P2 in the closing few races as well. Few laps. Closing down that gap. Matty was trying hard to get Shiv, which I think brought you into it a bit, which helped. But the last 3 laps, I don't know how you felt in the car. For me, it was very tense. Watching you try to find that gap.
Yeah, I just didn't really have the pace I thought I'd have, to be honest. I got a terrible start, ended up losing 3 places, got a bit mobbed into turn 1, managed to get them all back because 2 or 3 people had issues in turn 2 and 3, and then I was just kind of sat thinking if I can keep the gap down to the guys on softs, I'm alright, but I didn't realise Mattman was on mediums as well, which then ruined that idea. Yep. And the tyre drop-off didn't happen like I thought it would. The softs kind of held on a lot better than what I thought they would.
I was surprised by the longevity.
The lap time. So that kind of threw me off. But then when I put softs on, I knew it was just a case of just keep going. Built and then pitted to get out my way, which really helps. That would have cost me a lap. So I didn't have DRS as he boxed. And that would have cost me another lap, which probably would have meant Shiv would have got second. But it ended, we just pushed like mad. Then lap 31, I had a moment coming out of the first chicane, and I thought, I'll balls this up now. I'm not going to gain it all back. But I just went hell for leather for the last 2 laps. I think I finished on like 1% ERS by the time I'd done. And just by about 2 tenths, I think, got inside the end. So it was a bit of a boring race in a sense, because I was on my own for 95% of it. Yeah. Just kind of pushing and driving and saving tyres, and yeah, it went as good as I kind of could have expected after the start I had, to be honest, to get back to second.
So, considering you say that you felt like you were a little bit off the pace, I think to feel off the pace and come home with P2 is a very, very good result.
Yeah, I just didn't expect he was that far behind Mataman. I mean, I know he had a better start than I did, and then he was kind of DRSing off Shiv, which gave him probably a few tenths on me each lap. I didn't expect to drop away as far as I did, but P2's good enough to make sure I don't lose too much ground.
Yeah, and of course, I think it was just the way the race played out. I think if your strategy, you were there with Matt, you know, a bit closer maybe in qualifying, and you were racing with the mediums up front, I think it'd have been a bit different. I think you just get caught in that kind of hard place behind some guys in that middle phase of the race. That just once you're even 1/10 out that DRS window of the front train, it becomes very hard to recover.
Yeah, and you can't even recover ERS on that track to try and save it up and push for a lap. You're constantly losing it all the way around.
Yeah, because you don't even need to use any energy in that main straight, and I think it empties like 18-20% in your tank.
Yeah, it's stupid.
But anyway,
yeah, all in all, not bad.
Yeah, very good job, Rob. It was as I say, you made the last few laps. Once the gaps had opened out, that's all there was really to watch. So it made the last few laps quite exciting. So very, very good stuff. And as you say, if you're a little off the pace and getting a P2, that's a good day in the office, I guess.
Thank you.
Very, very well done, sir. Shiv, a P3 man.
Yeah, I think I had the opposite race to Rob.
Yeah, it was a battle of, or two battles of two stints, we could say, for you. The fight with Matoman stint 1, and then a good old ding-dong battle with Matty for the second stint.
Yeah, I felt the soft felt awesome. That first stint felt really, really good. It was only when I got out of Matoman's DRS I thought, right, I probably should pit now. I think Bilton and Matty may have pitted, so I thought, right, they may get the undercut as well. Otherwise, I'd have just stayed on them, I think, for another few laps.
Yeah.
But then, as I came out of the pits, I was ahead of Matty, but we were stuck in traffic. I think it was Pedro and possibly Dixie in front of us. So that slowed me down for any kind of undercut on Matoman. And once I saw him where he'd come out, when I went past him in the pit lane, I thought, right, that's that battle over. And then last few laps, Matty got the 6 seconds, so I thought, right, no need to push too much. This is where I am. I was one warning away from another penalty, so I was taking the last 2 laps really, really easily. And I thought I may just be safe from Rob, but then I had a spin at a near spin at Ackerman Morale. The back end went, and then I think I lost about half a second, so I was kind of demoted to third. But yeah, really, really good race. It was literally, I think it was lap 31. But I kind of asked what lap are we on, because it was just non-stop, just racing around.
Yeah, you were one of the guys that just never got a break.
And I was like, right, my tyre's going to go soon. What lap are we on? Can I hang on? Should I pit? I was like, it's lap 31. Wow. Okay, we're nearly finished. It was, yeah, the pace of the race, and yeah, knackered after all that. It was just constant.
It was. It's probably one of the most enjoyable Sunday nights I've had myself in the comms box. I never really had a moment. Every time one overtake had happened, I was jumping to somebody else because they were having an overtake or in a battle. So I think it pays dividends to. It's a good old quality product on a Sunday night, you know. And I think it shows that you don't need to be the fastest guys to put good action out there. And I always think, as I've said before, you guys are much more respectful.
Yeah, I think there was a time where I was defending fresh air from Matty at one point. I mean, the first stint, I was just screaming at my telly, going, why hasn't Matoman got a 3-second penalty yet? Is this the apocalypse coming? But yeah.
I know he did do well to keep the penalties down.
As soon as I got the 3 seconds, I thought, it'll cost me to Rob, because I thought on the softs, he'll be quick and he probably will get to the back of us.
Yeah. Well, in the end, still P3, Shiv. I think bringing on my podiums, again, as I said to Rob, a good day at the office. Matoman, I think, showed in qualifying that he maybe just had a couple of tenths on everything here.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
I know you get used, especially yourself and Rob, you'll be back at other tracks swinging at him and not letting him run away with it. just as much as he maybe thinks he can. I'll
Yeah,
just
no,
add a
I'm
bit of
happy
tension
to.
in it.
Still a long way to go.
That's
I'm
it.
happy. Yeah, I'm probably about fourth quickest in the league, fourth or fifth. So happy to just keep racking up podiums and the odd win, to be honest.
But I think what I like most is when it comes to race pace, if you guys are all together, you will very much stay together on race
Yeah.
terms, and that makes it quite exciting. So, very good job, boys. Good job, Matoman. Good job,
Well done, Mattman.
Rob, and
Thank you.
good job, Shiv. And just for reference, because I always do it, my driver of the day, it would have been close. There's 3 drivers in mind. Matoman, just because he shined today. I'd hate to say it about Matoman, but he did shine today. Rob was very good in the closing, but Matty stood out. I think he's had quite a lull open to the season, but he really showed today that he can have strong pace and mix it. So Matty would have been my driver of the day, or is my driver of the day. And on that note, P-Zero will be back next Sunday, and of course OTL is live tomorrow for the return of the sprint format. We will see you then.